We're going to teach you how to play Children, a horror game. It's a three-headed giant game from Quirky Engine Entertainment. Children comes with the following components. Comes with room tiles. These are thick board pieces. They act as the board. Comes with a full-sized play deck. This is the regular play deck. Two small decks. One is the 13 Toys deck and one is the 13 Children deck. It also comes with 4-player pawns, kitty figurine, and these 3D skull tokens, which allow you to get extra moves during the game. The object of Children is to wander around a haunted house that shifts and moves throughout the game and try to trap ghosts. There are 13 ghosts in the haunted house or that can be trapped. They come in and they leave the haunted house at certain points during the game. At the end of the game, whoever has the most of those 13 ghosts wins the game. The game ends when the final card of the main play deck is picked up. At that point, the player whose turn it is finishes his or her turn, and then all the other players get one more turn. At the end of that, whoever has the most ghosts wins the game. All right, let's set up the game. First things first, take the 13 Children cards and deal them on the table anywhere you want. And then take the 13 Toys cards and deal them face up on top of the 13 Children cards, like so. This creates 13 two-card pairs. Now we deal out the cards. Deal 5 cards to each player, but there are a couple of considerations. 1, 2, okay, we ran into our first ghost. Her name is Rosie here. If you run into a ghost while you deal, ghost cards never go into any player's hands. Ghost cards, by the way, have 2 sides to them. So the edges make it so that you can't see the ghost card coming up, but when they're revealed on the top of the deck, the backs of the ghost cards are different. So if you run into one of those, just bury it deeper into the hand like so. 2, 3, 4. Got another card. We ran into Alexander, so again, just put him deeper into the deck. And there's Marianne. So Marianne goes in there too. 4, 5. Now the other consideration is players cannot start the game with fate cards in hand. So if you have any fate cards and they have yellow blocks behind the rule block here, this is a fate card here, house settles. All players have to give up their fate cards. Just put them in a random spot in the deal pile and take a new card to replace it. When all players have 5 cards in hand and no fate cards, then you're ready to begin the game. Now the card limit per hand at the beginning of the game is 5 cards, but that's going to change throughout the game. For your convenience, we've printed the phases of each turn on the back of the manual, so it's easy to find, easy to follow. So we're going to follow this to the letter and show you how to play the game. So the first phase, you play a room tablet face up on the table and draw a card. So I'm going to go ahead and take the first room tablet, play it on the table. This is the library. It's on the first floor. So find a spot that's about, where the first floor is and just play it. So it's going to be basement, first floor, second floor, third floor. Also need to leave a little bit of room in between because you're going to put cards underneath those room tablets. Whenever you play a room tablet, also in this first phase it says you draw 1 card, okay? So I'm drawing a card and putting it in my hand. If the card that you draw is a fate card with the yellow background behind the rule block, you have to play it immediately. This is not a fate card that I just drew. Okay, now that I've done that, I take 2 turn actions. So I'm going to pick my player piece. I'm going to go with Microphone Boy. You like Camera Boy usually? All right, so we'll put these out of there. So for my first action, I'm going to enter the house. So I'm actually going to enter this room, the library. Now whenever you enter a room, you draw a card. So I'm going to draw a card, put it in my hand. All right, that's my first turn action. For my second turn action, I can go through my cards and I can play a device, but this early in the game, I don't really have anything that I can play or want to play. So I'm going to hang on to my cards, and for my second turn action, rather than taking a turn action, I'm going to take one of these skulls. You can only take 1 skull per turn, and you can only have a maximum of 3 skulls at a time. What this allows me to do is to take other actions later in the game. So I could move to an extra room, or I could play an extra card. There are cards called device cards. device cards come as either turn action device cards or as free action device cards. Turn action device cards require a turn action to play, but you can only play them during your turn. Free action device cards also require an action to play, but you can play those outside of your turn, but only if you have a skull token. So that's another use for the skull token. Okay, so that's my second action. Next, I restore my hand to the current hand limit. As I said earlier, the hand limit at the beginning is 5. I know I have 7 cards right now because I drew a couple. I drew one for placing the room and I drew one for entering the room. So you don't really discard cards unless you use the devices or unless they're fake cards and they fire off. So I have to pick 2 cards from my hand and leave them in the room in which I now stand. So those are my 2 turn actions. And I restored my hand to the 5 cards. Now I get to move 1 ghost. There are no ghosts in the house, so I don't do that. Move Kitty Kitty. Kitty Kitty isn't in the house yet, so I don't do that. And then it says play passes to the ghost hunter on your left. So it's his turn. Okay, so number 1, he's going to play a room tile. He got a basement room, so he's going to scoot this up. All right, now the rule for placing room tiles is they have to be on the correct floor. So if he'd drawn a first floor tile, he would have had to play it on the first floor, second floor, third floor. The second rule is, if possible, the room tile must be played adjacent to a room tile that's already in play, which he did. He played this basement room tile right below the library. He couldn't play it here or here or here because it's not adjacent. However, if he'd drawn a third floor room tile, there's a second floor between the first and the third floor. So it's not possible to play a third floor room tile adjacent. So he would have to play it up here, starting the third floor, and in that case he could sort of set it wherever he wants to. Think of the room as a grid. It's going to lay out like a grid, but some of the rooms are going to hop around and move. Now if you start your turn in a room that has cards under it, you have the option of looking at those cards and adding them to your hand, but you don't have to if you start your turn in a room with cards under it. However, if you move into a room and it has cards under it, after you draw your card for moving into the room, you must pick up those cards and take a look at what they are. So I know what those are because I dropped them there, so I'm just going to leave them. I'm going to move from this room to this room. Now this is important. You can't move from room to room with more cards than the current hand limit, which is 5. Right now I have 6 cards, so in order to move from here to here, I have to take 1 card out of my hand, my choice, and leave it here. Walk into this room. Whenever you walk into a new room, you take a new card. Oh, I've revealed the first ghost. Her name is Elnora. Elnora has a favorite toy. It's the shrunken head. If you are ever in a room with a ghost and you have the ghost's favorite toy, you trap that ghost and put it in front of you for scoring at the end of the game. When a ghost comes up at the top of the deck, and we have another one here, you get to place it wherever you want. But the rule is you have to place the ghost in a room that is unoccupied by another player. If all the rooms are occupied by players, then the ghost just goes deeper into the play deck. So I got to put Elnora right here, and the twins came up. So the twins are going in there, and Leland came up. So Leland's going in there too. So we have 3 ghosts in there. So I'm looking for the umbrella, the shrunken head, or the letter opener in order to trap those ghosts. Okay, so I have another turn action, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk into this room and immediately trap Elnora because I have the shrunken head. So I take Elnora and I put her in front of me for scoring at the end of the game. I'll never lose her. Once you score those players, you got them. I also have the parasol, so that allows me to trap the twins. So they go in front of me. Now, what happens when you trap a ghost? I've trapped a ghost with the shrunken head, and I've trapped a ghost with the parasol. So I have to go over here because another ghost might get angry or jealous at the toy that I used to trap the ghost. So I come over to the 2-card pair marked with the shrunken head, flip open both those cards, and reveal Seth. When Seth comes out of the play deck and goes into the house, he's going to come in his angered state. And if for every ghost that's in its angered state in the mansion, the hand limit goes down by 1 card. If the hand limit ever reaches 0 cards, all players that are in the house go insane and the ghosts win. Nobody wins. I also used the parasol, so I got to flip the parasol over, and I reveal Christopher. Christopher's not in the house. Now, if the ghost revealed has been trapped, oh yeah, if the ghost revealed has been trapped, then you can just discard. You can just discard these 2 card pairs. Now I'm still in this room, and there's another ghost in here. It's Leland. I don't have the letter opener, so I have to run in terror. I can run into this room through these doors, or I can run into this room through these doors, but when you run in terror, you have to leave 2 cards in the room from which you ran, and if you have one of those cards that you leave has to be a toy. So if I have a toy, I have to leave it behind and hightail it out of there. So I'm going to go ahead and leave 2 cards in this room. And I failed to mention that when you're moving from room to room, humans move through doors and trap doors. If there are no doors or trap doors between you and the room in which you're moving, you can't move into that room. But the door can be either on this side or this side. It can be either on this tile or both tiles. So I have a door here. Even though I don't have a door here, I can go through this one into this room. So I escape into this room. And since I'm running in terror, I don't draw an extra card. So that was my second turn action. So now I replenish my hand to the current hand limit, which is 5. I only have 1 card, so that means I get to draw 4 cards and go up to 5 cards instead of down to 5 cards. If he's going to move out of that room, he can't have more than the hand limit, which is 5, so he ditches 1 card, moves into this room. He gets to draw a card for moving into a room. You do that first. Okay, so he drew a fate card. Fate cards have a yellow background behind the rule block. This fate card is Kitty Kitty. How Kitty Kitty works is now he gets to take Kitty Kitty and put Kitty Kitty anywhere he wants in the house. Kitty Kitty moves through the house like humans. He moves through doors. He doesn't move along the spectral arrows. And the Kitty Kitty card stays in front of him. So at the end of his turn, the last part of his turn, he gets to move Kitty Kitty 1 space, and then he has to give the Kitty Kitty card to another player of his choice. All right, now he gets his 2 turn actions. Now he moves a ghost. There are no ghosts, but he gets to move Kitty Kitty. Moves Kitty Kitty into there, gives me the Kitty Kitty card. So I now control Kitty Kitty. For my first turn action, since I control Kitty Kitty, I'm actually going to move from this room into this room. But in order to do that, I got to get down to 5 cards. So I'm going to ditch 1 card. So I'm going to go ahead and move down into here. I draw a card for moving into a room. Goes into my hand for now. I have to pick these up now. Look at them. Okay, there are a couple of traps in here, so those are going to spring. So I have the nearest ghost wandering the mansion immediately comes to this room. There are no ghosts, so that fires, but nothing happens. Raven Skull, place the next 2 ghosts in the draw pile, 2 rooms adjacent to this one. So let's go ahead and do that. Rosie, she's going to go right here. And Gabriella. Gabriella we'll put right here. Now we got to check and see if Rosie or Gabriella are angered. They are not. Okay, so now that all that is resolved, all the card play, whoever has the Kitty Kitty card can move my player anywhere in the house that they want. I have the Kitty Kitty card, so it's up to me. But in order to move out of the room, I still have to ditch down to the current hand limit, which is 5 cards. All right, so I'm actually going to move up here. So Kitty Kitty moves me up here. I have the teddy bear, so I get to trap Rosie. The teddy bear was used, so we flip over this 2-card pair to reveal Gabriella. Gabriella's in the house, so we flip her over to her enraged side. It's my turn, so I don't have to discard down to 4 cards yet, but the hand limit is 4 cards now. So all the other players have to get to 4 cards. If they have more than 4 cards, they have to put cards in their rooms to get down to 4 cards. Now while I'm at it, I'm just going to look at these cards to see if there's anything in here I want to keep. Uh-oh. I looked at the cards and there are crickets. Crickets is a trap. It says here the nearest ghost to this room becomes enraged unless you have the cricket cage device. She's already enraged, so that trap fires with no effect. And I still have one turn action because all I've done so far is just gone from here to here and been scared back to here. So for my second turn action, I am going to take a skull for later. Move a ghost. Okay, now ghosts don't move through doors necessarily the same way as humans do. Ghosts move along these ghostly vortex arrows. So you have to move a ghost on that move a ghost phase. You can't skip that phase. So I have to move her, and the only direction she can move along that arrow is from the boiler room into the fruit cellar. And then I get to move Kitty Kitty since I control Kitty Kitty. So I am going to move Kitty Kitty here where I am. Kitty Kitty, since I own Kitty Kitty, I get to put my player wherever my player is. And then I give the Kitty Kitty card to any other player. So you can use Kitty Kitty to your advantage sometimes. Kitty Kitty's neutral. Remember, you can only have a maximum of 3 skulls. We both have 2 right now. Draw a card for entering the dining room. I got a fake card. Fake card, house settles. Anytime you draw a fake card, it happens, it goes off. So the house settle card, place any 2 unoccupied room tiles randomly into the room draw pile. Place all devices, traps, toys, and ghosts found in the selected rooms randomly into the children draw pile and shuffle both draw piles. So I'm actually going to do this one because I want to get rid of that. I want to get rid of that hand limit. So go ahead and put that in there in a random place. These go in here, however you want them to go in. Okay, so she goes back in here. I'm going to put her back into her friendly state because her toy hasn't been disrupted over here. And for the second room, I'm getting rid of this room because I want these cards back in there. So go ahead and put that in there somewhere. Okay, these are going in here just kind of in a random order. Shuffle these for good measure. And we should shuffle those. Now he gets 2 actions. If he wants, he can emergency escape, or if he wants, he can just hang out in that room and hope something breaks. He's decided to take a skull for 1 turn action. He's up to 3 skulls. That's the maximum you can have. All right, he's using a device as his second turn action. It's the secret passage device, which allows you to move to any room as long as it's in a straight line, horizontal or vertically from where you are. So that goes out. Found a way out. Okay, he draws a card for entering the room. Now I move a ghost. Christopher's the only ghost in the house, and here's the only way out of this room for ghosts, this ghostly vortex arrow. But since there's no room here, Christopher stays there. Ditches down to the current hand limit, which is 4. Moves Kitty Kitty into me. Since he had the Kitty Kitty card, he gets to move me wherever he wants. He's moving me into the same room as Gabriella. Okay, so I do not have the angel figurine, so I have to run in terror, which means I have to ditch 2 cards, and one of those cards has to be a toy card if I have it. So I'm going to go ahead and put those in here. This is still his turn, so he still holds the Kitty Kitty card. So he's got me over a barrel. The only way I can run is back into the Kitty Kitty room. So I run in there, he can move me wherever he wants again. He's moving me up there. Camel hat is what I need to trap Olivia. I don't have the camel hat, so I'm going to ditch these 2 cards and run in terror into this room. So I'm in this room with Caroline, and I don't have the right card, so I got to run into this room. And I am out of cards. I have none. He's decided to look at those cards before he takes his turn actions. We're at a 3-card hand limit, but during your turn you can have as many cards as are in the room and in your hand. He draws a card for entering a new room. That's his first turn action. Then he has to look at this card. Could be a trap. It's a trap. The trap says, the nearest ghost wandering the mansion immediately comes to this room. And so he uses his second turn action to use the dental tools to defuse this trap. So both those cards are discarded. So he's used his 2 turn actions, one to move into a room, the second to use a device, the dental tools, to defuse a trap. Kitty Kitty moves down there, which means he can put my pawn anywhere he wants. Right into there. I do not have the monkey paw, so that means I have to ditch 2 cards and run in Okay, so this opens up a new rule, okay? There is no way out of this room, and I'm in here with a ghost. There's not a door here, and there's not a door here, and these doors go to nowhere. So in this case, what you do is an emergency escape. Here's how an emergency escape works. You take your player out of the game and take your entire hand.
You're forced to do that?
Yeah, you're forced to do that. And put these into the draw pile wherever you want. Now, on my next turn, I just get to enter the mansion and draw a card. By the way, you can do an emergency escape instead of your turn anytime. You can elect to do it. In this case, I was forced to do it because I couldn't run and I couldn't trap the ghost. So I don't know, I jumped out a window or something. Then he gives me the Kitty Kitty card. Now for my 2 turn actions, all I can do is put my player piece anywhere in the house that I want. So I'm going to go, I can immediately pick up a hand if I go to a room that has cards, but there might be a trap. But I'm going to risk it. Going into this room, picking these cards up. Oh, you draw a card whenever you enter a room. So I do that first. Then I pick these up, and I immediately have a hand of 4 cards. For my first turn action, I'm going to use the cricket cage. Play as an action to trap any ghost anywhere in the house if you have the correct toy. And I do have the correct toy to trap Penny, the monkey hand. I have now trapped Penny. She is mine. That was my first turn action.
Monkey hand.
Yep, monkey hand reveals Leland. Has Leland been trapped?
I think so.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, so Leland comes out. Second turn action, he's moving up there. He picks up the last card, which at the end of his turn, all other players will have a chance to have one more turn before the game ends. All right, let's see here. So I am going to play a new room, the nursery. Okay, so for my turn actions, it's too bad. Can't quite do it. I can go 1, 2, and use a skull to make my third. And if I had another skull, I could have used the secret passage to get to Gabriella and trap her, but I don't have enough, so he took me out of that. And that ends the game. Now to find out who wins, you count the ghosts. Whoever trapped the most ghosts wins. Okay, so I trapped 6 ghosts. He trapped 6 ghosts. That's 12 ghosts. The 13 ghost is still in the house, didn't get trapped. That means the game is a draw. The game can actually end in a draw, so it's a tie game. And that is how you play Children, a 3-headed giant game from Quirky Engine Entertainment.